Nous avions les poches pleines de petits cailloux blancs, mais sur les routes incertaines, nous avons semé le vent. Nous étions de sales gamins, épris de liberté, dévorant les chemins et les épaisses forêts.
Hello students, it's your instructor again, and we are going to be covering in this lecture a concept known as township and range. This is an important concept if you're going to ever work for agencies that fight, such as wildland fire, or a lot of government agencies will use this concept. A lot of biologists will use this for surveys and denoting where they've seen particular species. It's an important concept to get down. It's a little bit tricky at first, but it's not too bad. And so here we go. So this, right, what we're looking at here are known as township and range and sections. Okay, so I've zoomed into an area near our project boundary. So if you can see here, there's our project boundary. And over the top of the project boundary, I have put township, range, and sections. Okay, and so I'll turn the project boundary off real quick just to look at just this. So first of all, we have to understand that this whole thing right here, so you see this 6x6 grid, this whole thing right here, that is called a township. Okay, so there's 6x6. That whole chunk is called a township. And so that is, a township is 36 of these little squares. These little squares are called sections. Okay? And so these are supposed to be, not always turned out to be the case, but supposed to be 1 mile by 1 mile. Okay, so this is a mile, this is a mile. So each section is a mile, a square mile. There are 36 sections in a township. So how many square miles are in a township? Well, hopefully you just answered 36. Okay, so this was all established under what's known as the Public Land Survey System, also known as PLSS. And so what they went through and did, travel around the nation and then surveyed out these sections and townships so that we would have a way of identifying locations on the ground. And so what actually makes this a little bit tricky is, yes, this 6x6 grid, this section right, this whole area right here is a township, but also the term township has to do with the value going up and down, the Y value, where the term range has to do with the X value. Okay, so as you move this way, you change range. As you move this way, you change township within a township. So they use the term township two different ways. And so that's where it can get a bit confusing. And so we're going to look at just how this works. And now you'll notice that the first section is in the upper right. And they move left in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then right below number 6 is number 7. And then they move right. And then right below number 12 is number 13. And they move left again. This is by far the coolest word you will learn in this class. This is known as moving boustrophodonically. And boustrophodonically literally translates to mean as the ox plows. So if you had an ox and you were plowing with it, you would then move this way, right? You would then plow this way and then plow this way. And so there's certain languages like Greek will do this where they move boustrophodonically. And so you have to know that's how it's working. Number 7's below 6, number 13's below 12, and they're moving left, right, all the way down. So number 36, section 36 within this township is at the very bottom right, okay? And so in order to tell somebody where something is in this township, we have to give it a legal description. And I've labeled it here with that. And so this whole 36 section area is known as Township 29 South, Range 11 East. Okay? And so what that means is that this is 29 townships south of what's known as the baseline. Okay, so that's where we move. So all the townships south of that baseline have the letter S on them because they're south of it. Any townships north of that baseline would have an N here. They'd be like 1N, 2N, and so forth. So we are 29 townships south of that baseline, and so 29 of these 6x6 groups south, or 29 of these 6 sections here. So you could figure out how many miles south we are by multiplying 29 by 6. So what is that, 174? And so we know that this is 174 miles south of the baseline. Range 11 east is telling us that we are 11 of these things, 6x6 squares, east of the principal meridian. It's called the principal meridian. So where the townships start is called the baseline. Where the ranges start is called the principal meridian. You know, there's several of these across the country, but in Oregon, that's where these are. We are 11. So 11 times 6 would be 66. So we're 66 miles east of the principal meridian and 174 miles south of the baseline. And so this term here, Township 29 South, Range 11 East, is describing this whole 6x6 block. Ignore this number on the end, okay? That only gets us to here, though. What if we wanted to tell somebody where something was inside this 36 square mile area? We could then tell them the section. So we would say, okay, you want to look at Township 29 South, Range 11 East, that gets us down to this square here, Section 11, and that gets us here, inside this one. So that's a square mile now. That's still not very precise, and so what they do is they then quarter off this section into quarters. And so this would be the northwest corner of Section 11. This would be the northeast corner of Section 11, southeast corner, southwest corner. So if I had something going on in this corner here, I would say, look at Township 29 South, Range 11 East. 11 East. So I've got this down here. Section, I would say the northeast quarter of Section 11. Okay? The northeast quarter of Section 11. And then I could also then section that off into quarters. So if I had something right here, that would be the northeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 11. So I'd say Township 29 South, Range 11 East, northeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 11. That tells me it's this little area right here. And now I'm down to about 200 meters accuracy. And so if it's a fire or something like that, that would be really easy to find in there, or a spot fire. So if I did it right here, that would be the southwest quarter. So I would say Township 29 South, Range 11 East, southwest quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 11. And that would get them right into this area right here. So it takes some practice to get used to. We will practice this in lab. But that is how you call out a description for a township and range. So you'll also see, like right here, this one over here has the same township value, 29 South. We're still 29 townships south of the baseline, but now we are 12 east instead of 11 east. So we've just moved range values. Where this one here is 10 east, okay? Where this one up here is still 11 east, but now it's 28 south. So it's 28 townships south of the baseline. Or this one would be 30 south, range 11 east. Okay, so as you move this way, you are increasing your east values. And now if we were to the west of the principal meridian, these would all have W's on them. And as we moved west, they would go up. So you just have to kind of visualize this in your head, what's happening. I think with some practice, you guys will be fine. So that is just a real brief explanation of how township and range works. And we're going to practice that in the lab. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.